Good morning. Happy Friday. Welcome to the virtual CISO Moment Infosec wrap up for Friday, June 30th, 2023. It's also the end of the first half of 2023. We begin today with a disturbing report from Dark Reading. Thousands of workers in China, Indonesia, the Philippines, Vietnam, and a host of other countries who were tricked into performing forced labor for cybercrime groups, including running fake online gaming sites, were rescued in a raid on June 27th by the Filipino police. Workers that had previously attempted to quit were forced to pay large amounts of money for the privilege, and others were afraid that they would be sold into other human trafficking syndicates. I did not know this existed. They were lured in by Facebook ads with promises of high salaries and fair working conditions. The head of the anti-cybercrime unit of the Philippines office, Brigadier General Sidney Hernia, said that police searched various buildings in Las Piñas with warrants, rescuing 1,534 Filipinos and 1,190 others from a variety of different countries. This comes after a police raid in May at the Clark Free Point in Mabalacat City, where roughly 1,400 workers were rescued after being forced to commit cryptocurrency crimes. The Mahfud, Indonesian minister, said that the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, needs to make progress on a regional extradition treaty that has been long proposed, which would ultimately help authorities prosecute these kinds of offenders and mitigate the escalating human trafficking and cybercrimes in these regions. It's currently unknown how many of the cybercrime syndicate leaders were arrested in the police raid. From Channel Asia, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has roiled the cybersecurity industry by putting executives of SolarWind on notice that it may pursue legal action for violations of federal law in connection with their response to the 2020 attack on the company's infrastructure that affected thousands of customers in government agencies and companies globally. Current and former employees and officers of the company, including the chief financial officer and the chief information security officer, have received so-called Wells notices from the SEC staff in connection with the investigation of the 2020 cyber attack. The company said this in an SEC filing. Cybersecurity professionals noted that it is unusual for a Wells notice to be sent to individuals within a company, and the move by the SEC could signal a whole new set of potential liabilities for CISOs, so be careful. Quote, usually a Wells notice names the CEO or CFO for issues such as Ponzi schemes, accounting fraud, or market manipulation, but those are unlikely to apply to a CISO. Jamil Farsheki, probably pronouncing that wrong, CISO at Equifax, said in a LinkedIn post, apologies if I pronounced it wrong, adding that one violation that a CISO might be is in the position to commit a failure to disclose material information. So things like failing to disclose the gravity of an incident or failing to do so in a timely manner that could conceivably fall into this category. The move by the SEC will make CSOs or CISOs more individually accountable to cybersecurity, said Ginadipta Sarkar, having a problem with names today, a former CISO of the pharmaceuticals company Biocon. Are you a small or mid-sized business that's looking for a central place for cybersecurity resources and information? Maybe you're a vCISO practitioner that's looking for something similar. Got a new site out there for you. It's called vCISO Services Net. vCISO Services Net has SMB cybersecurity resources, virtual CISO resources, and cybersecurity frameworks. Go check them out. They are at vcisoservices.net. Driven by a growing number of sophisticated threats and an ever-evolving regulatory environment, demand for CISO talent remains at a premium. We all know that, but unfortunately, many HR teams at smaller and mid-market organizations lack proper resources to identify top cyber talent and are challenged to attract top candidates due to expected salary requirements. To help address the hiring challenges faced with these organizations, the vCISO position is a viable option that can provide benefits beyond a traditional CISO leadership role. So an IONS blog post asks this question and answers it actually. What is a vCISO? Well, a vCISO provides a level of experience consistent with that of a traditional CISO, but affords organizations more flexibility based on the business's specific requirements, goals, and available resources. vCISO services firms offer proven cybersecurity executives at a service on a retainer or a part-time basis, providing CISO insight and guidance without the need to hire a full-time executive. This from the IONS blog post. A vCISO can ensure security compliance, evaluate current security measures, and develop a cybersecurity strategy for data asset protection. Other examples that a vCISO service can provide are develop and execute strategic plans, evaluate the organization's maturity level, mentor junior team members, set security budgets and resources, validate cybersecurity controls, enhance IT security controls, and monitor cybersecurity effectiveness and system health. So if you want to learn more about what a vCISO or vCISO does, check out the link that goes to the IONS blog post. It is, of course, as always, in the show notes with all of the links to all of the articles that I talk about today, because you may want to read up more on some of these. Like this one, a new Windows information stealer dubbed Third Eye appeared in the threat landscape. It has been active since April, according to Security Affairs. Fortinet FortiGuard Labs discovered a previously undetected information stealer named Third Eye. The malicious code is not sophisticated and can allow operators to steal various information from the infected machines. Now, Fortinet started investigating the threat after the discovery of an archive file with a file name in Russian, and there is no way I'm going to try to pronounce this one, but it is translated to timesheet in English. The zip archive contains two files with a .exe extension, preceded by another document-related extension, a double secret extension probation. The malware was an executable that masqueraded as a PDF file with a Russian name that I am also not going to pronounce, but it looks like in English. It is CMK rules for issuing sick leaves.pdf.exe. Clever file name there. Upon executing it, the Third Eye info stealer harvests system information and enumerates files and folders, running processes, and network information. Then the malware steals the collected data sends the collected data that was stolen to the C2 server. The malware name comes from the string Third Eye, which Third Eye decrypts and uses along with another hash value as ID when connecting to a C2 server. The second file in the zip archive, I'm not going to name it. It's in the article if you know Russian. This file is an info stealer variant. The investigation revealed that the first sample of the malware was uploaded to the file scanning service VirusTotal on April 4th, 2023. The Pennsylvania Association of Realtors reports that passwords used by people in the real estate sector are not very secure. This, according to a recent study by NordPass. Cybersecurity experts consistently recommend stronger passwords to ensure corporate accounts, yet those in real estate continue to use passwords that directly reference their company. This is not an official list for the podcast, but the 10 most used passwords in the real estate sector are part of the company's name, company email domain.com, part of the company's name one, clever, password, Indiana one, not sure if I get that, Aaron 431. If anybody understands that one, please hit me up on LinkedIn or on Twitter or email or something. I have no idea where that comes from. 123456, company name, company email domain.com, or default. On one hand, it is a paradox that the wealthiest companies on the planet with financial resources to invest in cybersecurity fall into the poor password trap. But on the other hand, it is only natural because internet users have deep-rooted unhealthy password habits. This research once again proves that we should all speed up in transitioning to alternative online authentication solutions. This from Jonas Karklis, who is the CEO of NordPass. Not quite objective there. Bring this to you from the What Were They Thinking department. Actually, TechCrunch brings it to you because they inform us that after a cybersecurity audit mistakenly reset everyone's password, a high school changed every student's password to change me with capital C and the ampersand as the A and an exclamation point at the end, giving every student the chance to hack into any other student's account. This according to emails obtained by TechCrunch. So yes, you heard correctly. They changed everybody's password to the same password. Last week, Oak Park and River Forest High School in Illinois told parents that during a cybersecurity audit, quote, due to an unexpected vendor error, the systems reset every student's password, preventing students from being able to log into their Google account. Okay, that's not good. You need to log into your Google account. I understand that in order to do school business. But to fix this, quote, we have reset your child's password to change me, that password I just talked about, so that they can once again access their Google account. This password change will take place beginning at 4 p.m. today. The school, which has about 3,000 students, wrote in an email dated June 22nd. Quote, we strongly suggest that your child update this password to their own unique password as soon as possible. Needless to say, giving everyone the same password is not how an organization should force a password reset. The usual process is to force log out every user, then prompt them to change their password the next time they try to log in. You know what? Multi-factor might help here too a little bit. I'm just saying. At least everybody had a complex password. SC Media says that MoveIt hackers, you remember that, may have found a simpler business model beyond ransomware. You got to evolve, right? A notorious cyber extortion gang's latest plot is fueling concern that ransomware actors may have hit upon a simpler and just as lucrative business model than the traditional methods of demanding payment from victims in exchange for the release of their computer systems. The Russian-speaking hacker group Klop confirmed it exploited a zero-day vulnerability in the popular MoveIt file transfer program and stole data from a growing number of victims, exposing the personal information of many millions of people worldwide. It's Klop's third and largest hack of file transfer software, which is designed to securely facilitate an organization's transmission of sensitive data in an ideal world. More alarmingly, it is also the third time it has simply demanded payment not to release data rather than demanding a ransom to decrypt a victim system. Quote, it is sort of a new business model for them, said Huntress senior researcher John Hammond, who helped find the backdoor zero-day export Klop used to trick MoveIt's database to execute the gang's commands. Hammond said the latest extortion method is easier to implement. He said, you don't need to encrypt the hard drive. Now, Hammond and others warn that we should expect to see additional attacks in the future targeting file transfer software in particular, as well as other data-rich tools such as document management programs. Fun. The record reports that hackers claim to have taken down Russian satellite communications provider. A group of previously unknown hackers has claimed responsibility for a cyber attack on the Russian satellite communications provider Dozer Teleport, which is used by energy companies and the country's defense and security services. Doug Madory, I think I got it right the second time, the head of internet analysis at the network monitoring company Kentic, confirmed to Record Future News that Dozer Teleport has been disconnected from the internet and is currently unreachable, at least as of the time that this article was written. The network has been down since 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday, according to the IODA project, which tracks internet outages worldwide. The company's website is also down as of the time of the writing of the article. By the time that you read and or see this, it may be back up. The group behind the hack claims to be affiliated with the notorious Wagner Group. I've certainly heard about them in the news recently. The Russian private mercenary army that made global headlines last week when it marched towards Moscow to rebel against the Russian government before returning to their positions. Its commandee, Yevgeny Prigozhin, fled to Belarus. There was no mention of the hack on the official Telegram channel of the Wagner Group, and several experts expressed skepticism that the group was actually involved. Nonetheless, the Dozer hack, quote, appears to be legitimate and has indeed had an impact, said Tom Hagel, a threat researcher at cybersecurity firm Sentinel Labs. The hackers do claim that they damaged some of the satellite terminals and leaked and destroyed confidential information stored on company servers. The group posted 700 files, including documents and images, to a leak site, as well as some to their newly created Telegram channel. Finally, Tech Republic reports that according to a new report from Kaspersky, small and medium-sized businesses are facing various cybersecurity threats. The biggest issues are exploits against their infrastructure, malware for different purposes, and backdoors. Now, to expand on that, the biggest cybersecurity threat to SMBs is the use of exploits by attackers. There were 483,980 detections in the first 5 months of 2023. The successful use of exploits allow an attacker to compromise a system or computer, elevate their privileges, plant malware, steal sensitive data, or even crash systems or delete information depending on the exploit type. The second biggest cybersecurity threat is Trojans. Trojans are malicious software, as if you don't know this, that once installed on the system provide the ability to install more malware or execute programs or commands in the background without alerting the users. Depending upon the purpose of the Trojan, it might also be used for deleting, blocking, modifying, or copying data, or facilitating further compromise. The third biggest cybersecurity threat for SMBs is backdoors, which are malware that provides remote access to attackers. Those accesses can then be used for manipulating files, exfiltrating sensitive data such as intellectual property, and much more. And that's it for today. I hope you have a great weekend. We're going to be back on Monday with the Cybersecurity Quick Strike, as always. And until then, do your best to try to stay secure. Enjoy the weekend.